What up, man? It's your boy King Moses, live from the porch, man, back with another one. This was something that I really wanted to talk about more in depth. I talked about it probably a couple weeks ago when I started hearing about this boycotting that was supposed to be planned by who knows nowadays, by whoever that's leading, because we don't have any black leaders out here really that's really leading us and not trying to do it for their own financial or political gain or power, um, and just actually doing it for the love and the care of the black community and wanting to see us as a whole grow and improve. Um, so there's this thing that just went viral on Twitter or whatever the case may be, everywhere about these boycotts, and I spoke on it a little bit or whatever. Had a little technical difficulties the way I put it up, but it was just on my heart that I had to kind of speak on it. But again, life be lifing. But I really had to sit down and break this down and really get into it. So first of all, let's start with the DEI thing. I'm gonna touch on that real quickly, whatever, because everybody's got their right there to their opinion, whatever. I'm on the side of DEI didn't really help the black community as much as people think that it does, and there was more of a other races and genders that were able to take advantage of it more than actually black people. Um, you could do the knowledge and do the Googles and research the stats on that or whatever. But I think as soon as black people hear stuff that the white man is taking something away that could potentially help black people, then people get in an uproar. That's just how it is. Black people really want to believe in a dream, and I think the world knows that, the government knows that, and they play on that, and they make money off of that. So if it's a situation where we have Black Lives Matter due to something happening in the black community where unarmed black people are getting killed by the police, and we make a movement to riot, because rioting does do damage to the cities and the government. They don't want to see that. It's a lot of money they have to lose out on, recoup, to fix. They don't want that. It ain't got nothing to do with people's safety. They lose money on that, right? When stuff gets destroyed, all that. Boycotts also help too. Let's not get that clear. Let's get that clear. Let's not act like it doesn't. They don't want to see that. So as soon as they hear or see some type of affecting the bottom line, which is the money, and they start to shift. And they'll shift enough to give you a little bone, throw you a little something, whatever, to get you back to spending the money with them. Then it's back to business. So, with the Black Lives Matter stuff, oh yeah, well, if you didn't have Black Lives Matter posted on your window or your restaurant, especially during COVID because it was down bad, if you were saying anything against Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, you would get canceled temporarily. You was going to lose money. So then it made more money sense to align with the black people at that time because they wanted the money. The people that were outraged by the support of black people, they weren't tripping. They were tripping about that initially. They say, oh, well, we'll put. But again, if you give people what they want, they'll get back to you. They'll get back to you. And they'll either say, all right, we're going to give you what you want, back to business. They'll either get rid of the person who doesn't align with that, get somebody in new to be the face of this is the new us, or they'll just change the name and align with somebody else who's on that side and still make the money. I'll give you an example of one place in particular, because I got this highlighted or whatever. Papa John's. Papa John's, whoever that dude was or whatever, that was Papa John mascot or whatever, said that or whatever. They got him up out of there because black people saw his face and heard his comments. They didn't like it. Do you think he's still getting paid from Papa John's? Absolutely he is. They just pushed him off to the side. You're not going to be on the forefront. It might not be a situation where he probably getting still paid the same amount or whatever. We just don't want you as the forefront person. Even if Papa John's went out of business, you know what they would have did? They would have rebranded themselves, changed themselves to John Papa's or Mama Jane's. And Negroes would have been still eating that or whatever. But as soon as they got them up out of there, oh, Papa John's is for us. They got Shaquille O'Neal to be their ambassador and all that stuff to get black people on his side. We like black people. See? Now everybody will go down to Capital One Center, whatever, Capital One Arena. They're still aligning with them. Nobody boycotting no basketball, football, hockey teams, whatever, because they align with Papa. They rebranded and everything was forgotten. Time went on. They gave us what we want. We back to business. Starbucks was getting a bad rap for aligning with I guess the Jays during the Palestine versus whoever, because I forget Israel. Palestine versus Israel. If you wasn't with Palestine, man, all that stuff goes away. But the problem is black people can't really afford to do that stuff because we don't own our own stuff like that. I ain't talking about, oh, I own my own restaurant, but I got to buy other products from somebody else or whatever. Like, ain't no black people or a lot of black people growing their own fruit, got their own farmland and doing all the stuff from the mud. You're buying stuff from other people that align with these values, whether you like it or not, whether they say it or not, and it's dependent on your success. Okay? We don't have enough options. We don't own enough. We don't do enough on our own. Back in the day when you ain't have no choice but to grow your own food or whatever because the way of the world. That's why you had Black Wall Street. We weren't allowed in these places, so you had to do it yourself. It was more hands-on then. Now we've been afforded more of a opportunity not to have to do that or whatever, and people got comfortable, and they know that. They know people ain't trying to go back to, oh yeah, well, if you got a problem with our products at Target or products being delivered from Amazon, you're not about to go get it. You're not about to make this yourself or drive extra far to go to a local store or whatever. No. We not afforded to that, to be honest. Sorry to say. So my point is, don't start a war that you can't win. So if you feel that you can do without using Amazon and you hate them so much or whatever because of their values, and I don't need to use Amazon for my business, whatever the case may be, do you? If you feel that you can win that war, or I'm willing to completely fail based on this war being started, have at it. What I also don't like, and I'm going to give you an example of, I guess, a boycott that I personally did. Like, I used to love Chick-fil-A. It wasn't because of the LGBTQ stuff, whatever. It was, I think it was around the time or whatever, Black Lives Matter stuff and everything was going on, and just like the vibe or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not doing Chick-fil-A no more. I've never ate Chick-fil-A since 2020, I believe. And I stood on that. I wavered on it. Now, like I said, even if it's a situation where it's like, okay, once in the blue moon, like, okay, I'm not going to eat there as much. I'm not going to give them all of my money. That is a start. To be like, okay, well, I'm going to at least give some of this money to a black people restaurant. If they make a chicken sandwich, I'm going to go there. Not 100% of the time or whatever, for whatever reason, but I'm not going to go 100% Chick-fil-A. But I'm also not oblivious to be like, all right, well, I will never eat Chick-fil-A again 100%, and I'm just going to, like, being realistic. Now, me personally, I just haven't, there's more options for me to go to, whatever, besides Chick-fil-A, so I just wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like, now, and this is another thing that I tell people too, whatever, like, you show your hand too much. There's other races that do stuff in silence. You don't know what they doing, how they doing it, whatever. At the end of the day, they are successful in their area, because don't nobody know what the hell they doing. That's how it's supposed to be. Y'all putting out schedules of when y'all gonna boycott. The people know. So it's like, okay, well, we're gonna have a dry patch. So we're gonna have to ride it out during this time. All right, we'll make a sale before April 7th at Walmart, so black people can bulk up and get the stuff before the boycott and just ride it out. And then we got enough time to try to rectify the situation, apologize, and whatever the case may be, and tell them what they want to hear so we can get their business. So you're telling what your plan is so the opposition can see your strategy. And then you're not really giving a strategy of like, okay, what does this look like if we win this war? What are we going to do? Walmart goes out of business. All right, now what? Where are the other places or whatever that are around America where black people can go and shop that align with the values that black people care about or whatever that we could go to? I ain't talking about in your city, in your town. I'm talking about America, because some places are more easier to navigate without having to go to Walmart or to go into Target or without having to use the Amazon. A lot of other places are not, depending on where you live at. For example, I don't eat at Chinese carryouts no more. I haven't eaten at Chinese carryouts since 2019, 2020. For my personal reasons. If I want to go to a soul food restaurant or whatever, there are plenty of them, or other places or whatever that I can eat at or whatever where I don't have to go there. There's more options. And the problem is black people don't have a lot of options of their own in certain areas. And then even if you have your own restaurant or a place of business or whatever the case may be, we don't own these products. You're still buying from some type of, you might be buying a product that's General Mills owned or Nestle owned or whatever, or it's got to be shipped to you by Amazon. Or even if like, it's just too much, man. But y'all really have to, sounds nice, but y'all have to be realistic with yourself. And at the end of the day, what I say is people got to take care of home first. I guess I'm always been on a boycott because I'm not in the interest of spending a whole bunch of money. I'm all about keeping my money in house, because at the end of the day, the black people don't worry about me and my household. They don't worry about King Moses. They don't worry about me. Everybody's for self. If I lose my job and go poor and can't eat, you ain't gonna have Carolina Kitchen coming to look at me and donate me money to get on my feet. So I'm gonna try to support as much as I can or whatever when I can, but it's not my responsibility to give 100% of my money to a black-owned business just because they're black. If it's gonna affect my bottom line of being able to survive and take care of my household, which I'll get to in a second. But you gotta take care of home first. So I always say spend less, save more. Yes, you can go to restaurants, all that stuff, but black people need to stop being dependent on going to restaurants all the time. Go buy your food from a grocery store and make your food and do it like that. Yes, you can go to restaurants here and there, whatever. But that's why we're losing recipes. That's a whole nother story, whatever. But don't nobody want to cook no more, whatever. They don't want to get their hands dirty, whatever, and really put in, like, because more people got more money now, they just want to spend it. And people, again, why you think it ain't no point that we all these restaurants because we don't have none, but because there's a lot of people in this world are lazy as hell and quick gratification. So they know that, so they know they're going to make money off of that stuff. But that's what I say. I say you got to save your money, whatever, first of all. And then if it's a situation where if you want to spend your money, then yes, try to spend with the black people and keep the dollar within ourselves. But if you can't do it and it's just not available to you, or there's no other options of any black businesses that are providing good product, then you got to do what you got to do. And that should be very minimal. Sorry to say, I shop at Walmart because they got the cheapest prices for groceries. I'm not going to shop at Giant or some other place or whatever, some local grocery store where if I want to buy a box of cereal, it's $7 in Giant or some other grocery store that's local, where I could get the box of cereal at Walmart for $3 or $4. It just don't make sense. Or I could go to Target and buy fruit or whatever the case may be for way cheaper than I could get at the local grocery. The local grocery hikes up the prices because they also know that there's certain people that are not hip to the game, and they're just like, okay, I gotta do what I gotta do, and I'm not in the interest of saving money. I'm into the convenience of, all right, this is the closest thing to me. I don't have a car. I'm not going to spend my money on an Uber or take the bus. So I'm walking around the corner to go to 7-Eleven to buy this box of cereal. That's $8 because you can't drive to a Walmart or get a ride to a Walmart to buy a box of cereal that's $3. And there ain't no black. Again, even if it was a black convenience store, they not going to sell that box of cereal for $3 because they have to pay rent. They got to make their money. That's just what it is. A lot of these big companies can afford to have the rates and the prices is at what they are because they got so many of them. They generate so much money so they don't need to crack your head and have crazy high prices. When you don't have that much, you gotta upcharge to keep up with the cost of living. Here's a clip for this black business with it, because again, y'all really, black owners really have to really be smart, whatever, and just be like, look, man, just because you black owned doesn't mean that you automatically get the business. And you gotta, I'm not saying don't own or whatever, but it's like, this is a long journey of fighting that we have to do for this war. This war cannot be won in 1 year, 2 years. That's not how this works. It's people that have been fighting for 100 years and still fighting. And when you get a win, you got to share the wealth with the people and put the next person in position for them to win. But no, nowadays, black people, for the most part, is when they win, that's all that matters to them. And then they get out. They don't pass on to somebody else or give the game to somebody else or anything like that. They'll buy or create their own. White man approach them, they cash out, and that's it. But don't talk that talk if you can't walk that walk. But here's a clip, whatever, that came up that was pretty crazy, whatever. College campus. You ain't got no money like that or whatever as a college student, let alone a black college student. But let's see what they got to say.
Slutty Vegan, a black-owned restaurant owned by black woman Pinky Cole, is closing down its Spelman location after being voted out by the student union, or like the student restaurant union or whatever. And some of the students, I was just reading the comments. I reached out to some of the students. They wanted to stay anonymous, so I don't want to put their name out there. But a lot of the students were saying it was limited options and it cost too much. So if you ever had Slutty Vegan, they're not cheap. They're not a cheap option, right? It's a premium. It's a premium food, but they got voted out. And I'm not sure if you ever heard of the Twisted Taco. You ever heard of Twisted Taco?
I have.
So they're being replaced. Slutty Vegan is being replaced at the HBCU Spelman by Twisted Taco.
I don't know who Twisted Taco is and if they're even black owned. But Slutty Vegan could be like, again, you got to know your audience. Don't expect all black people to just support or be able to pay your prices because they're black. Okay? You got a demographic that maybe you need to reach or be to that demographic of black people. They got money to spend, and they'll do that. I just a thought. Just thought. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's just, like I said, I wish there was a diversity of black owned businesses that had their own product and all this stuff, but it's just not what it is. Depending in America, depending on where you at, whether you in Atlanta, DC, whatever, it's gonna vary based off of your area. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, I mean, and honestly, mainly you're gonna get food, because all this is about food and stuff like that when we talk about the boycott and stuff. But like I said, food options or whatever, like is that's just what it is. It's different. So we're gonna have areas that's like, all right, we got black owned restaurants with them. So there's not a issue of supporting a black owned restaurant over like that's not the issue. But there's a lot of caveats to it where, again, these black owned restaurants are getting delivered to by Amazon. They were supposed to boycott. They're buying their products from Walmart or Target, where we're supposed to be supporting, or they're buying them off Amazon in bulk. For the most part. Now, I'm not saying that they're not shopping other places. They could be shopping at Costco. I don't know if Costco's on the list or whatever, but who's to say just because, oh yeah, they didn't roll back their, they probably didn't even have a DEI or whatever, right? But even if they didn't, who knows if the owner of Amazon don't own a portion of Costco, and they like who knows? I'm not saying don't do it, but people need to be well thought out on this boycott. I don't know who organized it, and just look at who's organizing, stirring this stuff up or whatever, and maybe they trying to do it for their own gain, because it's always something. Same thing happened with Black Lives Matter. They sold a dream to everybody, got everybody riled up or whatever, and they got the money, whatever, that was supposed to go to black people and helping all that. They got the money, they spent it all off on a honeycomb hideout mansion or whatever, and they fucked that money off. And now everything's like, see, we told you that's why we can't give black people no money, whatever, because y'all not even united together as a one. And y'all got the money, whatever. That's on y'all. Y'all fucked the money off or whatever. Now they tearing off the Black Lives Matter street or whatever. Like, I mean, it is what it is, whatever. So it's like, there's no incentive now to keep up those gestures. Van Jones be crying on CNN and all these places begging for money for helping the black people, whatever. That boy got $100 million. I will never forget it. Got $100 million from Jeff Bezos and ain't done shit with that money. But because time has gone by, whatever, and all that stuff, people forgot about it, swept it under the rug. I will never forget it. But this is the reason why you can't take these people serious. I love Dr. Umar and what he got to say, but again, it's been long enough or whatever. People can criticize him about why he ain't built the school, Even if he builds the school and gets it up and running, first of all, people have to realize the timeline of how long it takes to get a school and get operational, all that stuff or whatever. You can't win the war overnight. And some wars ain't going to be won. So it could have been a situation where he would have been able to get way further down the line if he would have took money from white people, or if he would have been employing white people or charter school, whatever the case may be, or funding by. But that's the path he chose to fight. And it could either be a situation where he is scamming people and just be like, all right, well, I'm making this money, whatever, but I'm putting up the money to, slowly but surely, whatever. You're not going to get that product anytime soon. And even if you get the product and it goes up, the likelihood that it succeeds is very small. So, again, you're trying to fight a system. And one man can't win that war. One person can't win that war. Especially when you got people on the side doubting that you can win it, or that's fully invested in the fight. So sometimes if you're going to do a fight like that or whatever, you got to be real strategic. Sometimes you can't just go straight line in or whatever. You got to slow walk it, to rally up some troops, get people trained, all that stuff or whatever. That's all I say, man. And at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you and your household. I want black people to do more, be better, be more financially responsible and more financially educated. And I think we'll do a lot better overall as time goes along if we were doing that. Spend less, save more. A lot of this materialistic shit that people will be buying and spending their money on, there's enough information to show that you don't need that stuff. And if you want that stuff, you got other avenues to go. I wish people stop getting car loans. You can't afford it, then you don't need it. Save up your money, buy cash. Or use what you got to save up the money until you get a car or get enough cash to get the car that you want and buy it cash. The only thing realistically that makes the most sense, because it's just realistic, is buying a house. No point, like, you're not gonna buy a house cash or build a house cash or whatever just because the way the world is or whatever. That's just something that you have to do. You have to get a mortgage or whatever, save your money up or whatever, pay it off early, whatever, all that stuff or whatever. Do what you can do as far as that. But car loans, jewelry, clothes, all this other shit that people be spending their money on or whatever and getting charged interest and tax out of that stuff or whatever, using credit cards and letting it build up interest or whatever, and not using the credit card to your benefit to get the points, paying it off every month where you're not getting charged interest. That information is out there for you. It's putting money aside, saving it, putting it in the stock market, or even if you want to do crypto, whatever, like investing it. Stop worried about taking your money to spend it off on something to impress some people. You know what's more impressive? Being more financially stable and not needing the man in a products like that. Stop buying the dream that they selling you. But I digress. That's my thought process. And again, it's not going to stop. Nothing's going to be 100%. But if you could take 5 or 10% of that away from what you spending, you don't need for no damn boycott. You should be boycotting internally every day. But I digress. That's all I got to say. This your boy King Moses, live for the porch. Live, subscribe, comment, share, all that other stuff or whatever that I really don't care about. But then I do care about these kids and I pray for them. And again, this is for the know, not the show. I got it right this time. This is for the know, not the show. Let me know what y'all think. I could be wrong. Let me know. But that's it. I'm out of here.